Sometimes you hear the phrase, I couldn't read so-and-so. I never really knew where he was coming from. Well, that doesn't mean that the information wasn't all there for you to see. It just means that you didn't have a sense in your mind is, what do I need to be paying attention to? Because nobody's explained it to you. No, nobody may have explained to you that that the 2/3 of the impact of words that go back and forth between two people that we refer to as messages, the 2/3 of the meaning of those messages is your eyeballs and your face, and maybe what you're doing with your hands. It has nothing to do with the words or how they're spoken. It's the visual nonverbal part of communication. And if nobody ever explained that to me, and I've explained it in classes, and everybody gets it as soon as you explain it, and I'll also ask the follow-on question: does that make sense to you? Does that seem like this sounds ridiculous? You're saying 2/3 or the majority of how I feel about what a person is saying to me is based on the look on their face or how they wave their hands around? Say, yeah, that's exactly what it is. So you need to pay attention to their hands and their eyes. And most importantly, if you're the leader and you want to make sure you're connecting with each of the people that you're responsible for, in an individual or in a group setting, that you do something as simple as make sure that you make eye contact with that person or those people that you're talking to in a small group, just to make that connection, and expect their eyeballs to be shining back at you. And if they are, that gives you the indication that at least possibly, not definitely, but possibly, they're listening to what you're saying. And listening is an important skill that every human being needs to practice on every day, because nobody's perfected it yet. Nobody's gotten to the point where there's not one bit of disagreement on what the message was, what the intent was. We haven't gotten there yet, and we probably won't ever get there, but we don't need to. But we need to have in our minds that we want to do everything we can to make sure is that we have our day-to-day interactions with people that report to us, if we're in a management and leadership role, that we do everything we can that's reasonable in order to be sure that we don't have misunderstanding. Because misunderstanding, when you add a little bit of emotion to it, becomes conflict. And conflict happens, and disagreements and conflict are going to happen because we're humans. But if we understand more what the dynamic is and what we can do on our side, and also try to do something about the other person in a positive way, we have an opportunity to develop some better results through better relationships.
I'm miscommunicating. I just made a pilot, then they threw me on the stations. Now I'm not complaining, My thoughts get complicated, I cannot explain in lameness. Never losing focus because I ain't chasing payments. Still playing in the basement while I'm working on arrangements. They heard the kid in 50 countries, thank God that's amazing. But I'd rather thank Spotify.